What's up, my Yu-Gi Bros? I'm your host, the one, the only, the RJB0. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Business Casual. So I've been camping for the last, week, and I figured that I should take this time, since it's been ages since I've done Casual Friday, to respond to some of your comments and questions from the last Casual Friday. This is not a Casual Friday video itself, seeing as I'm not wearing casual, nor am I filming this on a Friday, but I will be doing a Casual Friday video this Friday, so if you want to ask me any questions or make any comments that you want me to respond to, you should ask them in the comment section below, and I will get to them during this next Casual Friday. Let's go through this Q&A, since it has been a long time. We start off with Qliphoths saying, "Hello, will you be attending the Seattle Regional September 20th? If so, what will you be taking, and will you be attending with the mindset of topping?" Yes, I am going. That is in my plans. It's going to be my first competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Event in ages, because we in the Northwest get like one competitive event a year. So yes, I will be going with the mindset of topping. I have no idea what I will be bringing, though. Nothing in the meta really excites me right now, but I don't know. Let's move on. Let's see. We've got Shamrock Frost saying, "Washingtonians unite!" in parentheses, the real ones. I agree. We are the real Washingtonians, and we should stick together, because those people from the East Coast who call themselves Washingtonians are coming to get us. Let's see, Connor O'Neill. "Do you think that Cyber Dragons are a viable deck this format?" I have kind of this philosophy that if you can compete with something, then it is a competitive deck. I have seen Cyber Dragon artifact variants that have been super cool, where you use Cyber Network to create like massive boards of level 5 light monsters, so you can do fun stuff with Pleiades, but I haven't seen that do a whole lot, so I'm not certain that Cyber Dragons are necessarily a viable deck this format. Let's see, Speedy Steve 2448 says, "Let's duel again. It's on, RJB." Yes! We should do that. We have Trey ZZZ113 saying, "Are you coming back to the Indy? I heard there's an opening in arts and entertainment. Also, is Tyler Brown ever going to make an appearance in one of your videos?" Well, Tyler Brown and his magnificent dancing skills no longer hang around me and my computer, so it is unlikely that he is going to show up in one of my videos. I'm also working for the Columbian now, so all y'all at the college newspaper aren't going to be seeing a whole lot of me. Unless you read the Columbian, in which case you'll see a whole lot of me. Let's see, Marge says, "What are your thoughts on Gravekeepers this format?" I like Gravekeepers. I think that they are a really solid deck for most formats. The problem with Gravekeepers this format is just so easy to get around their outs, things like Necro Valley and Imperial Tombs, while with having wiretaps running around and all the MSTs, and Shaddolls don't really have an issue with Necro Valley, and they don't even really have an issue with Royal Tribute. It's just not the best of anti-meta decks you could come up with this format. It could be decent, but I wouldn't bank on it being particularly competitive. Grade 2 Efficient is talking about the Monster Sleeve review, and talking about how we like matte sleeves better than gloss sleeves. Let's see, "Where do we send you mail, sir?" At my address, which is at my house, which is in Vancouver, Washington. Y'all can figure it out from there. I got a lot of questions about Qliphoths and Shaddolls, so I want to answer them all in one thing, which is that once again, I have this rule that if something, if a deck focuses around monster effects which activate the graveyard, then that deck is going to be successful at some point, unless it relies on monster effects which activate after being destroyed by battle, which is fairly easy to play around. So I think Shaddolls are definitely going to be tier 1 this format. Qliphoths are also freaking amazing. People have been talking about Qliphoth Killer, but it isn't even the best card in the deck, in my opinion. That's not even what I'm worried about with the deck. The deck is just really good at OTKing, and that's really concerning. The deck is pretty ridiculous. One player asked if they're going to be the next Dragon Rulers. Not certain if I would go that far, but they're going to be pretty darn awesome. There's a jumping spider there. That's super cute and entertaining and distracting. Let's move on. Didn't they fix the rating system on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro? I have not seen a functional rating system on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro ever. What top 10 cards would you say need to be reprinted? This is actually a decent question that I've not put a huge amount of thought to. I might make a top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh! Hierarchy video for cards that need to be reprinted. However, I have been joking around with a lot of my friends about the 4 reprints of the Apocalypse, that once these 4 cards get reprinted, Konami's just going to close down the game because those cards are never going to get reprinted. And those cards are an extra deck card, a main deck monster, a spell card, and a trap card, which I think were Quasar, Glow Up Bulb, Vanity's Emptiness, and E-Teleport, which are probably all going to get reprints in the 5D's Legendary Collection, so after that, I'm not certain. I'll have to think about that further, but that's what I've been thinking. Let's see, is Europe a country? No. That's the short answer is no. It acts a little bit like a country because the European Union has awesome trade agreements and stuff like that, and they use a common currency for the most part, and you can cross the borders fairly easily, but it itself is not a country. It is a union made up of many countries. I'm not certain why you asked me that, but there you go. If you could make a deck, what would it be, and what would its specialty be? I'm not sure if you're talking about with like real cards or with like cards that I made up, but I really do like the competitive and non-degenerate burn deck that I created a while back. I think that would be super cool. How to find you on DN? I have a username. That username is Hobo League, all one word with a capital H-O-B-O, capital L-E-A-G-U-E. That's how you find me on Dueling Network. What do you prefer? Sacking your opponent super hard, like where you draw 1 out of like 25 type of thing, or watching your opponent draw perfect and then have the out. I love that second version. I love having the out to my opponent's play, like when they're like, oh man, I've got this killer play, they top deck, they think they won, I'm like, what, warning, or something like that, and oh man, that is the best feeling in the world. So definitely the second one, although they are both a lot of fun. That was a question from Mr. Mason 123456. Let's see, Daniel Valerio says, RJ, do you think there are any cards that are being overhyped for the current or next format? Like I was saying, a Qliphoth Killer is like the least of our worries for the Qliphoth deck, but it seems to be the card that people are worried the most about. That's the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head that's really overhyped for this format of the next one. Other than that, I think that people are pretty much taking things fairly cautiously, actually, when it comes to like Shaddolls and Satellanites as to whether they think they're going to be any good in the near future. So I haven't seen a whole lot of hype. From Galactic God, we have, what are your thoughts on Konami doing draft in the top 16? Do you think it should be done every YCS, or maybe just randomly a few throughout each format? Now, this is a tough question, because I enjoy alternative formats. I enjoy draft and sealed and Highlander and traditional and all those things. However, the 2 ways that we have tried using these alternative formats at YCS have not been ideal. The first one that we tried was having individual YCSs that were all sealed play, like YCS Sheffield was kind of the famous one, and that's not good because people aren't going to want to go to those YCSs because people like doing constructed play, because a lot of the skill that goes into Yu-Gi-Oh is making your deck and preparing for the decks that you know you're going to see at a competitive event. So that isn't the way, and the way that we're doing it now, where every YCS has a draft component in the top 16, also isn't ideal, because I think that if a player makes a good deck that can get them into the top 16, they should be able to play that deck all the way through. However, I do think that alternative formats should have a big place in the competitive game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So what I think Konami should do is have separate and just as prestigious events and with real prizing and stuff like that for alternative formats. So at a YCS, you can have an entire YCS of constructed play, but you can also at the same time or afterward have an entire YCS of sealed play. Or you can have tag team YCSs. Just increase the number of tournaments going on instead of replacing current tournament formats with alternative formats. That's what I think should happen with those. Let's see, talking about the monster sleeves and the fact that I used the decal ones, not the solid ones, that was a comment that I got a lot. I've tried the solid ones as well, and I had the same problems as I did with the decaled ones, so I just like the decaled ones better. Where is the Karakuri deck list? I will bring that hopefully next week, I think. Which deck do you like better, TeleDAD or Bubble Beat? For this format, I don't know. In general, TeleDAD. I absolutely love TeleDAD, mostly because I love Dark Arm Dragon, and I think that card is awesome, but I really like the TeleDAD mirror match, so I might do a couple of duels with a TeleDAD mirror match, if you guys want to see that. Can you please share your thoughts on the Gagaga archetype from Benjamin Jean? I think the Gagaga archetype needs more support before it's going to be any good. It's kind of like Photons in that they rely a lot on Xyz plays that force you to go at minus, and like even though those Xyz plays could potentially give you a plus, there are many decks that can make similar Xyz plays without going at minus to do so. So it's like it could be good, but it just doesn't have the power to do what it needs to do. Let's see. So that is all that I have for this Q&A session. Things that you can look forward to in the coming days. Tomorrow, I am finally doing the Judge Gripes about my least favorite part of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is the tiebreaker system. And then I will be doing chain beat videos. I have chain beat videos coming, and I also have an interesting Yu-Gi-Oh! Trivia thing discussing some things about the Qliphoths and Shaddolls names that may give us a hint toward their storyline that I don't think people would notice if they didn't have a minister for a mother like I do. So yeah, interesting stuff coming your way this week, and I will of course have more deck lists and duel videos and stuff like that interspersed throughout them. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, let me know why in the comment section below. And of course, remember, if you have questions or comments that you want me to respond to, let me know in the comments down below what they are, and I will try to get to them at Casual Friday this week. Meanwhile, I'm your host, the RJB0. Welcome to, or thank you for watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And Business Casual. I have been off for too long. I got a jet, guys. See ya.